one of the biggest issues that athletes have is trying to fit in with their peers. So it's important that you find people in your life who are like-minded and who you can actually connect with and who like you for you, whether you're the star athlete or not.
Welcome to another amazing episode. And we're going to jump right into it. I have an amazing guest. Miss LaTasha is just going to come in. She's going to tell you about herself. But one of the great things about it, you guys know, when it comes to youth and young adults, I want to make sure they understand who they are and the direction they need to go. But we understand and know that just not deals with academics. It deals with also soft skills, what many people say that is needed. So this guest is just going to come in and going to break down some great information that is needed. So sit back, as always, get your paper and pen and write notes, because this phenomenal queen is going to bring you some great information, because I already got my notepad too. So welcome to the stage. How are you?
I am doing wonderful. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. How are you?
I am great. No, we are so excited to hear from you. Knowing that you do so much, been blessed to connect with you on social media, seeing amazing things that you're doing in the community, especially within Birmingham, Alabama, as we know, being just high crime and poverty. But we
Oof.
also know that we can impact our city and we can impact our youth in a positive way. And you are definitely doing that. So one of the main things I want to bring you on. So thank you first for the work that you're doing.
Oh, that is so sweet. Thank you. You're doing some amazing work too. I saw you at that event at Clay Chalkville, I think, like back in, was it
Ooh,
September, October,
come
November, one
on.
of those months. I think it was actually earlier this year, so it was like
Let
March or
God
April.
use you. Because, yes, I be around. I be around. Y'all here. She said event. Come on now. I'm always open for booking in the name. So, yes, most definitely. So, just jump in and just tell the folks a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Okay, so my name is LaTasha Toney. I am a clinical licensed social worker here in Birmingham, Alabama. I actually am the owner of Mindful Caring Counseling and Consulting, where I provide counseling services to individuals all across the lifespan. I have a sweet spot for young adults and teenagers stuff because they're going through a transitional period in their life, just trying to figure out, who they are, what's important to them. So I like working with that group. I also do like some public speaking. I speak to professionals, churches, just whoever about different mental health topics. And I also have a podcast called Therapy Tea with Tasha T, where
Come on.
I talk about mental health and help to reduce stigma as it relates to mental health. So that's me.
Love it. As you guys hear and you see all around the mental health, definitely the items and things that we need. So jumping right into it, I always go into it mostly explaining first to youth and young adults about mental health, because we know in our culture we get a stigma of it seen and heard as negativity, but
Mm-hmm.
they really don't know. So if you can just kind of jump in and start of defining in a term in which our community can understand mental health, and then from there, we can just talk about why it's just so important to even know the term.
All right. So, first off, when it comes to health, we all have it, right? So, we all have a mind, and our mind is what impacts the way that we think, feel, and act. That is what mental health is. We all have that, okay? So, the goal is not to have mental health. We all have mental health. The goal is to have mental wellness. And that is being able to be well with how you think, how you feel, and how you respond. And there's also another condition called mental illness. And that's when people have a condition that impacts how they think, feel, or behave. I think a lot of times people get mental health and mental illness twisted, but a person can have a mental illness and still have mental wellness. Um, so yeah.
I love those definitions, and you definitely brought in how a person can have mental illness and mental wellness as well. That are just,
Mm-hmm.
so profound on that. And as we
Mm-hmm.
relate and we talk about that part of it, it was just switching back to you of how do we identify mental wellness?
So mental wellness again, it's being able to think, feel, and behave in a way that is productive to who you are. So let's say you're a college student, right? You're a college student. you're starting college for the first time, or you're a high school student, you just got back into school. So mental wellness is just being able to deal with things that's going on and still be resilient. A lot of times when people have hardships, they're not able to navigate those things. But hardships, if you're an athlete and you're struggling, that hardship helps you to become a better player. So when you are in situations that are stressful and you're able to get through it, that is mental wellness. So it's just being flexible in how you think, just being able to make good decisions, being able to plan and to look beyond today. So let me give you an example. So you have people who might have schizophrenia. I don't know if you all know what schizophrenia is, but schizophrenia is a mental illness or a psychiatric condition that can cause people to think things that are not based in reality. Like a person might think they're the president, a person might think that people are out to get them. Now, you have times where a person has a justified reason to believe that somebody is out to get them. But a person who has schizophrenia who's not on medication, they don't have a reason to believe it. It's what their mind is telling them. It's like that song you all heard back in the day. I'm going to age myself. I always feel like somebody is watching me. My mind is playing tricks on me. That is like having an illness. So you can take medication, and that can help to actually stabilize those symptoms. So you're able to think clearly, able to interact with people, and you're just able to have a good quality of life. That's all mental wellness is.
I love that. A big thing that you said, the flexibility to be able to be flexible with things that's going on in life, because
Mm-hmm.
truly we know things are going to happen in life. Challenges are going to happen in life. Unfortunately, we're just in a culture where we are dictated about whether or not you just win all the time. Like
Mm-hmm.
failure seem bad because of what comes from school to academic, and now it goes into life wise, where we feel like, if we say we got any mental health challenges or mental health illness, then people think something is wrong with us. But that's just part of daily life. And as
Mm-hmm.
you said, the goal is to become mentally well, being able to be
Right.
flexible with those things.
Mm-hmm.
And jumping right into it from that, as you say, you love with youth and young adults. I'm big on that too as well. So just with speaking with them, we identify what mental health, mental illness, and mental wellness is. And now when they're going through those challenging problems, a big thing that I hear from a lot of my youth is I'm not self-aware of the things that are going on with me. So we can jump into just understanding self-awareness so that can also help them navigate through the challenges that they may be experiencing.
So self-awareness is, are you asking me a question? I'm sorry, I
Yes,
got
yes,
to
go
that.
ahead.
Okay,
No,
so
no, you just
self-awareness
do it, girl.
is just
Do
being
it.
aware of self. It's being aware of, what my values are, how I think, what my triggers are, and just how being me impacts those around me. That
Yeah.
self-awareness. And it actually has four different parts. So in therapy, there's this thing called Johari's window that I like to talk to my clients about. And so one part is Johari's window. So it has things that I know about me, things other people know, things others don't know, things I don't know. So first, there's things about me that I know and you know. If you're looking at me close enough, you might say I have a baby tooth. So that's things that everybody knows about me, right? They can just look at me and see that. And then there's things that other people might see that I don't know myself. And so sometimes young people have gifts and talents that they're not aware of, but adults in their lives might notice those things. That's like the things that others know that I don't know. And then there's things about me that I know, but I don't want you to know about those things. Those are my secrets. And so a lot of teenagers, young adults, they have a lot of, identity issues. Some of them are dealing with, we can take it there, sexual orientation, sexual identity. That can be part of things that I have about me. And I want others to know about me. And then there's things about me that I don't know, you don't know. These are things that are yet to just come out at some time in our life. So I really like to have people to just write those things down. What are things that others know about me that I also know? What are things that others have told me that I was surprised that they knew? or maybe asking their friends and family, hey, what are some things about me that you've noticed that maybe I'm not aware of? And then, what are those things that you know about yourself that you don't want other people to know about you? I think a lot of times that's where teens and young adults struggle, as it relates to their identity. They're like, I don't know where we're going with this topic, but it could be, oh, I'm in high school and I don't really like playing basketball, but because my mom or dad wants me to get a scholarship, I'm playing basketball to appease them. Or, hey, I really don't want to go to medical school, but because my mom and dad have said this is going to be the best field for me to make money, I'm going to do this thing. So it's just a lot of teens and young adults struggle with what they really want and what their parents are pressuring them to do or they feel pressured to do.
Ooh, you hit it there. Because that is most definitely one of the biggest things that we get at that a lot of people are doing things based on the aspect of self-awareness of their parents and not them.
Mm-hmm.
On it. And I love the four. So you guys want to make sure you have to stop, pause this at a time, go back and write those different questions down that she just put it out to you to ask yourself. And also definitely I love working in groups. So asking also some of your peers about those things as well when it comes to you. And going into that, because you hit it right in there. So what are some things these youth and young adults can do to speak with their parents and let them know, because now we've told them what self-aware is, and that one self-aware may be one of the things you talk about. It's a deep secret that, hey, I don't want people to know I really don't want to play sports, I really don't want to become a doctor, but because my parents saying it, I need to, but I'm afraid, I'm overwhelmed to tell them. So what are some nuggets they can do to still communicate with their folks about it?
Girl, it depends on the emotional intelligence of the parents because some
Yes.
parents are not ready for that conversation. So,
Yeah.
in that case, you might have to get an adult in your life who you trust, talk to them about, what you're feeling, what you want to do. And
Hmm.
maybe they could be a mediator for you to talk with your parents about this thing. That could be like your coach, like yourself, like a mentor you have. It could be a therapist. A lot of parents want their child to go to therapy, but maybe there needs to be some family therapy involved, and that could be a way. Or a safe minister or pastor. Not every minister and pastor is a safe person to involve those things. So that could be a person as well. So I would start with an adult in your life who you trust, who you're able to talk to about this, and they're not trying to change how you think or feel. They're willing to be just a neutral party. That would be a good person to get them involved. And just really take some time and explore, what do I like to do?
Yeah.
What are my interests? What is it about being a doctor that I don't want to do that? What is it about being basketball? I don't like this. It just really take time to explore what the reason is that they're doing this
I love it,
or don't want to do
especially
this.
with having the coaches and mentors, because that was a big thing with me. As you said, the emotional intelligence of those parents as well. A lot of people know I've said many times throughout my speaking engagement that me and my mom didn't have the best relationship until I got grown. But God do things in so many mindful ways. Now that's my home, and that's my role. That's my pound. But growing
Mm-hmm.
up, I suffered a lot because I missed that mother daughter relationship. So I didn't know how to talk about her about the things that I was struggling with or things that I did not want to do. But I
Mm-hmm.
had coaches and mentors, which so dear to me. I have the name Coach Perry because coaching over 10 years with just youth and young adults, I was able to fill shoes that was filled for me growing up.
That's
And that was
awesome.
being able to go and talk to coaches when I had things going on. They wasn't judging me because they got 1,000 kids that they're working with, but also I'm their star player, and I'm their star player because I'm looking for attachment and love. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
looking for someone to speak to me. So they was open to tell me different things.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I took that on as a player where I got coaches, my kids now that I used to coach that still calls me, talk to me. I have one that is actually going to be on the podcast that we'll be recording this week too. And she's in college now. I had that baby since the 6th grade.
Oh,
But she
wow.
would call me and talk about everything. So you have to find that she said people that you feel okay with talking to, trustworthy people, and also people that won't judge you, but is going to give you straight advice. Because one
Yes.
thing about me, I talk to my kids, but I'm like, look, you may not want to hear it, but I'm gonna tell you.
Mm-hmm.
You came to me, so I'm gonna give you the opinion based on it. So definitely looking forward for people that you can actually talk to and you can dive in when it comes to that. And going back also with just the youth of just giving them advice. I know we said the 4 ways that they can, figure out about their self-awareness or gain more information, but is there anything or things that you've done with youth for young adults just to help them find out clarity about who they are as a person? I think that's the biggest thing that our youth lack so much of that. um
Mm-hmm.
Identity issues is a lot, sexuality is a lot. We know those are things that is very high commodity within our community, and all over. So what are some other things just to have them be okay of being self-authentic? So many kids are trying to be everybody else.
I think it's just all about finding your people, and that could be like volunteering, getting out here volunteering, being a part of a group with people who are like minded. You might see some adults there, and that person could be like a mentor for you. I like doing values assessments with my clients. So I have like all this list of values and had them to identify maybe like 5 or 10 that are important to them and just ways that they might be able to implement those values. So one book I really like is called is Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He have one for teens and one for adults. So that's a good book. Finding a mentor, finding somebody in your life who just has interest in you, who's open to just having conversation. I think a lot of times adults just want to talk.
Hmm.
So just having somebody in your life who allows you to talk and who's just there to listen. And not really, I know you said you need somebody to give your opinion, but not really being so quick to tell that teen what to do.
Yeah.
Because adults, if you want children to talk to you, young adults talk to you, allow them to talk. Don't tell them what to do. Don't
When to talk
like
about.
actually build that relationship with them. That's what's important. And when they feel they can trust you, then they'll share. I just cut you off. What did you say? I'm so sorry.
No, I was going right along with you. Like you said, allow them to talk and
Mm-hmm.
give them that opportunity, because
Yes.
we do that a lot because we feel like culturally bound. I'm grown, so I know.
But you don't know everything,
Mhm,
actually, because I'm like, ooh, girl, I'm like, I'm getting old. But I like, having friends who are younger and
mhm.
friends who are older. And so one thing about having younger friends is they kind of keep me hip to some stuff. Like I didn't know it was cool to be a Christian right now. That's cool. It's cool
Mhm.
to talk about God. So a
It
young
is.
person
It is
told
a
me that
tribe, and we
recently.
we before we move on, it is a tribe. So we're gonna put that out there, and we're gonna conversing like that, because I love that. I love that you brought that up, because it is on social media. I've been seeing that more, a lot of the rappers of going to different concerts and different things, that it is becoming more popular, which is a great thing. And on
As long
here,
as it's for the right reasons, that's all I'm saying.
yes. And on
Mhm.
here, you guys know at Talkers versus Doers, we do not push religion or anything on anyone. You can come from any form of background. Just praying for you and over you that whoever that you serve is a servant that's making you your higher power, that's
Amen.
elevated to that level. So I
Amen.
always, like to say that, but I am thankful to see more young folks, falling along with something that's positivity, because you
Right.
can be cool and say you're serving someone that understands and know your feelings, thoughts, in your
Right.
feelings. So,
But yeah, like even though it is popular, you have some young people who are really serious about that.
mhm,
And I think a lot of times some adults like, oh, this is the way, but that you don't know what this child knows, what this young person knows. So actually give them time to talk. Like I have a nephew who's actually an athlete. And I was talking to him about something one day. He's like, well, I don't lie anymore. Like, oh, this boy is like serious about his walk. So, but young people are actually out here striving to be the best people they can be.
mhm.
So,
And with that, what you said, I would say too with us is giving them empathy and
hmm
giving them a chance,
and
because you're gonna have. I'm sorry.
remember you were not always an adult yourself. You struggle
Right.
too. I think a lot of adults forget that part.
That is the big thing. We all had situations and things that we talked about and said we're going to do this. And when you said that, that made me think, because we've all had that time and said, I've changed, I've done this, growing up. And I'm sure some of the parents, and not just saying with your nephew, but some of the parents are like, really? But we have to give them time to develop. We have to give them
Mhm.
time to learn who they are and the person that they are. So when I've had my kids, I try not to judge them. When I'm like, okay, I'm gonna see next week. I don't say it to them, but I allow them, because you want them to. And it may sound bad, parents, and it may sound bad, youth, but you guys know we keep it real. It's a point of time as adults we want you guys to fail, because failure is part of life.
Mm.
It's a way for you to understand and to develop. That's personal development is failure.
Mhm.
So allow you to go your way and do what you got to do. It is okay. As adults, oh my gosh, I'm failing every day, especially when it comes to making sure I put content out to give to you guys.
Right.
Because I'm not doing everything like I'm supposed to. But through failure, I understanding that being God purpose of being the voice of the youth eliminate for me to helping you guys if I don't do it.
Amen.
So it's something that I'm passionate to say, I gotta do it more
Mhm.
on there. So I love that you said that and you highlighted that it is. And from that, how do you feel about it though, seeing the change within the Christian rap or just Christian ministry around our youth and young adults?
I just say, regardless of what's going on in the culture, it's important that we as adults know who we are, that we
Mm,
know who we are and what we stand for, because whether children or young people choosing to follow what we're doing or not, if they see that we're consistent, that draws them in. So it's just so important that you all are consistent in what you do. If you stand for something, stand for that every day. Don't be wishy washy, because our young people need to have people in their life who are consistent and who are standing up for truth, because that's what's going to help to encourage them. We had those people in our lives who were consistent, they inspired us. So we have to be that same person for young people. It's time for us to grow up, y'all. All
yeah,
right. We can't be 18, 21 forever. So we got
come
to
on.
be mature.
Most definitely. I love it. And in and coming up to an end, you guys know I always love my guests to come back. So we only give so much, because this lady is full of knowledge and information, but we wanted to target in on this part right here. So Miss LaTasha, is there anything else that you want to gauge and give to, the actual students on how to just become more authentic? And I guess most important, we're going to target in on students and athletes of how to become more authentically them as it relates to just what we've been talking about, mental health and just having that positive mindset.
Just take time to be by yourself and identify what you like, why you like this, and surround yourself with people who are like minded. One of the biggest issues that athletes have is trying to fit in with their peers. So it's important that you find people in your life who are like minded and who you can actually connect with and who like you for you, whether you're a star athlete or not. You want to be around genuine people.
I like that. The biggest thing she said right there, whether you're the star athlete or not, you want to be around genuine people. And that's so huge as we wrap up. And I think the more and more I do these podcasts in a way, I think it allows me to be able to share and tell stories that was impactful for me. But as she said, whether you just start athlete or not, I had a young lady that I started coaching before doing the things that I do. I have been an entrepreneur coach too, helping, small business and people start their business. And I had a young lady that I played basketball with in high school. And in the midst of playing basketball with her, in high school. No, she wasn't the best player. Thankfully, I was considered one of the best players from that middle school to high school. Now, when I got to college, things transitioned to me becoming a water guard. But however, in high school, I was that star player and I was doing different things and got back together with this young lady and was coaching her. In the midst of coaching her, her thumb was in the background. He said, come. She told him to come. And he was like, this auntie Erica. And I'm like, you know, like this Auntie Erica, he was like, yeah, my mama told us all about you. And I was
Oh,
like, really? I said, well, that's cool. And because I've told her before that I will continue to use her information, from that Tanya said, yes, I did tell them all about you. She said, I informed them that you was one of the ones that helped me get through high school. And y'all know, people that know I'm a crybaby when it comes to these youth and young adults, so I'm trying not to cry. She was like, you helped me get through high school. And I was like, Tanya, what do you mean? She said, I know I wasn't the best basketball player. She said, I know I wasn't good. And bless her heart, she can barely tie her shoe and run on the court at the same time. But at that time, many people know basketball and sports with female wasn't like how it is now, which means every player kind of played every sport, and we needed more players on the team. And she said, I knew I wasn't the best. She said, but I was in foster care throughout high school. And she said, in
wow.
the midst of being through foster care out of high school, she said, I was going from house to house and getting molested by my foster parents.
Wow.
So she said, being at the basketball court and being at practice brought life to me. And she said, even though I couldn't play, she said, Erica, you push me to be the best player. You will make me do stuff. And she said, I felt like I had a place. She said, I
Wow.
felt like I was loved because you pushed me and you didn't let me settle. She said, when other kids on the team would say little stuff, she was like, no. And I did. I took that leadership coming in 10th grade, becoming one of the captains. And any girl, if we hear we say we family, nobody is left behind. That was before the rules and academics. Everybody running, everybody touching the line. Coach, everybody needs to get in the game because I guess that was just because how I was brought up. And I was struggling, and people didn't know I was struggling, but I was struggling because I felt left out at home. So I made sure nobody felt left out in sports.
Wow.
And that's a whole nother story that we can get back to. And because of my passion and my hurt, I made sure other people was healing. And so when she told me that, I'm on there and I had to turn off the Zoom and I'm just crying. She was like, you okay, girl? And I'm like, yeah. She said, because I was the one that made her want to come to practice and know. And I
Wow.
always want to stay at practice. Practice be over at 6 o'clock. We still in the gym at 8 or 9. Why? Because I was feeling and I was lost from my home. And I didn't know this girl was getting molested at home. So me staying there and walking in purpose before I even knew my purpose, God had already said, we're going to do this.
Wow.
Kid, I blessed another peer, not because she was the star player as me, but because I just was self-aware that we have to have empathy and love people regardless.
Amen. Amen.
So um that story has always been huge. So I love that you brought that. Thank you for allowing me to bring out my toolbox and speak on it because it was just so profound that she told her kids about me and being able to help her navigate through school. Because even in the hallways, I would talk to my teammates, hey, what you doing? Why you in the hallway? I'm checking on you. What's going on? You need to be at practice. And she was like, she just loved the care that I gave her. And I'm like,
Oh,
only knew how much pain I was in. My
pain
only
into purpose.
woo! Come on now. Come on now, LaTasha. Don't play with us. Don't play.
Pain into purpose.
Definitely. I thank you for that and just coming on and sharing your information and just being authentic and real too with the guests. Again, we definitely want to have you to come back on and talk in detail more subject, but we're trying to make sure we don't take up majority of you guys' time. But at this point, can you please tell everybody where to find you? We're gonna have that in the show notes, but if you can tell them where to find you, also address your podcast as well again, so people can find that.
Y'all got like too many pages. But okay, so go to Therapy T with Tasha T on Instagram. So that's therapy like the tea, like a cup of tea with Tasha T, just a T on Instagram. And then I have a counseling page. It's Mindful Caring Counseling. If you are a young adult, a young athlete who are in need of counseling, I am taking clients. Come see me. Call me.
Come see her. Yes, come see her. Y'all will have our pages down. Also, I always like to say on the YouTube page too, you guys please come in. If you see you have any questions or concerns, please come in on there and I will direct them to her to make sure she get those. But don't let your mental health lack because you just don't have education or understanding. You have different resources that are out there. And this one is resources, as she said, she's opening, she's taking clients. So please don't let that go. And also, parents, if you have any questions or anything, drop that. We want to make sure we get it to her as well. As you see, she's very authentic, she's straightforward, and many people say, hey, that's what we want for our youth. So we want to make sure we provide people of that nature on the podcast to give you guys that. But as always, you guys, it's your girl, Coach Perry. You don't know what it is. Don't talk about change. Be a doer of change. Why? Because you deserve it. Y'all have a good one. Until the next one.